Oh, Merry Christmas. Hi, I hope you guys are having a great December holiday season, and I welcome you to Natalie and Company, where I talk about books for indeterminate amounts of time. I am here today to give you some wintry reads. There is 2 Christmas ones on the list, and the rest are just generic wintry reads. December's halfway over, and the winter definitely goes beyond that. So here are some of my current favorite wintry reads. The Autobiography of Santa Claus. This is a book that I've read ever since I was young. It is pretty religious. Like, there's definitely the religious undertones because it's about Christmas. I think that's just kind of what you get when it's Christmas. The actual story, I think, is really well told. Jeff Gwynne has interviewed Santa Claus, and this is his autobiography, his evolution of him being born in Turkey and how he gathered magic and created his sleigh. And I think it's so creative. It's so fun to watch the Santa story evolve along with history. Like, he talks a lot about, you know, the world wars and how that affected Christmas and things like that. Like, I think that it spans a really, really large period of time. You know, although there is the religious undertones, it's like maybe like 2% religious. It's really not religious so far as a lot of religious texts can be. I really recommend this one, especially for anybody who just like loves Christmas in general. My family, even though my family's not religious, has always been a really big Christmas family, and so it just really holds a lot of the like nostalgic magic of Santa in it. It makes you want to believe. It would probably be a great read for like younger kids. You know, maybe as like a Christmas bedtime story or something even, because it's just so sweet and about giving and the goodness of people and good cheer prevailing, which I really enjoy in books. And so it very much encapsulates the Christmas year. I've just enjoyed this book for so many years of my life, because I think the first time that I read it I was like 15. And it's a great Christmas read. It really does put you in the Christmas spirit. Castle in the Clouds by Christian Gear. This book takes place on the week between Christmas and New Year's, basically, and it is a little mystery about a girl who's working as a maid in a like snowy hotel up in the mountains, like a ski resort kind of thing. And I think it's just so good at evoking so much of the imagery of winter. Talks a lot about, you know, playing in the snow, or like how the hotel is decorated for Christmas and then for New Year's. It's very cozy, like wintry, top of the mountain, and then there's just a little undercurrent of mystery in it to, you know, keep you wanting to read more. It has just like an element of cheek. I do think that sometimes Christian Gear makes main characters that are like, oh, I'm not like the other girls, kind of, and I really don't like that. But I think in this one it's really not, it's not super prevalent, it's not there. But it is so little there that it's easy to ignore. And it's a book for fun, so like I don't necessarily think that the characters are supposed to be very fleshed out or intensely created, because it's more so about the atmosphere and the plot that is going on. If you want a wintry read, and if you like things that are set in like hotels or you know, like cabins or things like that, it's a great one to pick up. We have Four Treasures of the Sky. This is a historical fiction about a little girl who is kidnapped from China and brought to the United States during the Chinese Exclusionary Act. And I know you're saying, well, what does this have to do with winter? This little girl finds her way to Idaho, and a majority of the meat of the book takes place in a very snowy Idaho, like throughout the winters of Idaho. It evokes in very much the other side of winter, the isolation and the fear and the cold. It evokes all of those things about the snow the imagery inside of the snow is just so prevalent. I can't really explain more without spoiling it. It is sad because it is a historical fiction. So be warned, it's about racism. It's a historical fiction. But I really enjoyed it. It was like a 3.5 when I read it. The writing is so beautiful. Like her imagery that she creates and her environments that she creates are perfect for historical fiction. It's like exactly what you want when you pick up a historical fiction. The words themselves and their existence evokes the history. It's very well done. It is very sad though. Here is one that probably few of you have heard of. Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead by Olga Tokarczuk. This one is set in Poland. Olga Tokarczuk is one of Poland's like most famous fiction writers, I believe. And this one is her most recent release that she came out. This is a mystery, murder mystery. It's very dark and visceral, but like in a really amazing way. It's set in like the top of a mountain in Poland in a very deserted town, and it actually talks a lot about the impact of being like a border town, and of being, you know, of like the difference between the Czech Republic, I believe, which is what is next to them, and Poland, and it like has this like very background undertone of the political thinking, just like our daily lives would, but that's not anywhere near the main focus. The main focus is our main character, who stays year round, unlike the majority of other people in the town who are only there for the summer, and she takes care of the homes. And so it's about her experience of isolation, and also like her fight and defense of nature and of the encroachment of people on nature, all happening throughout the middle of the winter. So the whole time she is trekking through the snow, making sure there aren't leaks in houses, and it does a really good job of evoking that bitter cold feeling, but that bitter cold feeling is balanced out by her moments of warmth and of human connection that she evokes in there. And I also love that the main character is an old woman. I feel like so often our main characters are young and are, you know, in their teens or in their 20s, and I think the author did such a great job evoking the tone of voice of like inner voice, like the way that an old woman would actually speak to herself in her head, as well as like the evolution of like a person who has had experiences and has lived a very long life to get to the place that they are at now in this book. And she does a really great job with it. I really enjoyed it. It's a super easy read, and I also thought that it was very funny. She has some one-liners in here that like I just like, they cracked me up. And it's very much so like about this old woman's battle between her own superstitions and her logic. It's just so well done. I really enjoyed this one, and I think of all of them, this one probably evokes the cold bitterness of winter the best. Okay, this one's kind of a cheat because it's only partially about winter. If on a Winter's Night, a Traveler by Italo Calvino. He's a pretty famous author from Italy, mostly known for his book about cities that he wrote, but this is a book that is written entirely in second person. So like you pick up the paper off of the ground, you know, it uses you as a pronoun, and it creates this like atmosphere that's very like time transcending. It is like a combination of stories without a beginning and an end. If anything, when I picked this up, like there wasn't a lot of snow in here, but it is very much so set in the cold. Even when the stories change and shift, it is set in the cold, or like one of them is on the bitter cold coast I honestly think I need to pick this one up again, because I feel like the concept was so dense that it needs another go through, you know. It could probably take 2 reads, maybe 3, to fully get into the meat of this one. Okay, next I bring to you a very well-loved copy of Seal Child by Sylvia Peck. This is my copy that I've owned since I was like 10, and I first read it and fell in love with it. It is set on an island in the winter, so it's not snowy, but it is icy, it is cold, it is windy. A little girl shows up on an island where there's, you know, like, it's an almost deserted island. Like, that's how isolated it is and how many few people are on there. She finds friend with this girl, Mira, on the cover, and they become really wonderful friends. I always thought, growing up especially, it was a really great reflection of young girl friendships, because they're very young. They're like 9 or 10 in this book, and so I think I read it at a similar time, and it very much it's very empathetic in its approach to other people, and I think that was really impactful on me as a child. She's Molly's best friend, but she has a secret as mysterious as the sea. I think it does a great job because it's on the coast in the winter. It's like, it's freezing. Like, this one is cold and it's wet and it's foggy, you know, foggy island vibe. So like, if that is the winter that you're more familiar with, then this one might be a little more familiar for you. Okay, next we have 2 volumes. This is H.P. Lovecraft's At the Mountains of Madness, but the manga version by Gu Tanabe, which I love because fuck H.P. Lovecraft. And so I like feeling like I'm supporting more than just H.P. Lovecraft's legacy in purchasing these, because I don't necessarily care about H.P. Lovecraft's story, but I would care about Gu Tanabe's interpretation of H.P. Lovecraft's story and his experience of this story. And I did really like it. The whole book is set in Antarctica, so if that gives you the vibe, that's it. It's freezing, it's cold, and it is about how do we describe this? It is about supernatural beings in Antarctica that are discovered by an Antarctic expedition when that whole Antarctic expedition thing was still popular. And I think that the art is so amazing. I think he does a great job at creating darkness, which is really hard, which is like really, like, his drawings have so much detail in them and so much like darkness and depth and shadow. It's very stunning, and I think that the drawing style is also perfect for the story itself. So if you want some classic horror, but you want to support somebody who's not a racist piece of shit, even though he's dead, Gu Tanabe's At the Mountains of Madness are a great option to pick up. There's just the 2 volumes. It was very good. It was very well done. Okay, this one is one that's close, very, very close to my heart, because this was one of the first series that I ever truly loved as a child, and that is The Chronicles of Ancient Darkness, the first one being Wolf Brother by Michelle Paver. It basically takes place in Europe, back before Europe was Europe, back during, you know, indigenous peoples' times. She says that she does a lot of work about Paleolithic England, and that is a lot of what this world is based in. So basically, each of the tribes within this realm are based on or worship a specific animal. And then in this world, a boy is born, both of his parents are lost, and he is raised by wolves. leading him to be able to speak with wolves once he gets older. And then more so like in like a, he can say like ruff, 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 ruff. Like he knows what all of those tones mean. It's not like a literal like he can speak to wolves, which I like a little better. It's a little more realistic to me. But that's just the beginning, and a lot of it is about community and what it takes to work with other people and coordinate large groups of people, and manage people that are looking to survive, that are looking to thrive. And I really always enjoyed that. There's 6 books in this series, and I think that everyone is so great. Normally the book starts at the end of summer is when each book starts, and then each book takes place throughout the winter there, and normally is ended by the time that summer hits, because winter is the time of darkness and spirits and evil and things like that. So really have loved it, and I have reread it since I have been older, and I did think that it held up for me personally. I don't know whether that's just the nostalgia talking or what, but I think that the whole 6 books, like the Torak's evolution in here as a character, and I think he becomes so strong but also like empathetic, because it takes leadership skills to communicate and to coordinate between different groups of people, and then the magic element is like an undertone to interpersonal relationships, and I love stories that are like that. This specific one, if you just want to pick up the first one, Torak grows up and he forgets his time with the wolves until he meets a wolf cub, and a bear has begun hunting, almost like a rabies-like bear, and that it's just destroying with no reason, and killing people indiscriminately, you know, not through natural instinct or anything. And it's his journey to conquer this bear and save everybody, which I think is a great first novel, and then I also think that the rest of the series is great. It is a very much one that's close to my heart, especially as the wolf girl that I am. This is definitely one of the reasons I became who I am today. And like is very telling of my taste in fantasy and of my taste in fiction. A lot of books that I read, I'm reading to find the feeling that I got when I first read this when I was 10. Because that's how good it was for me when I was 10. Last one, Where the Red Fern Grows. I did post a reading blog of me reading this one, so if you want to see me reread this one, I did it recently, you can click here. But Where the Red Fern Grows is a story about a boy who gets 2 hunting dogs and their life together. It's a dog story. It gives you exactly what you would expect from like every dog story. Old Yeller, Marley and Me, that's what you're in for. Okay, just need to be clear about that. But in my personal opinion, it is the best because it brings meaning to the sadness that comes with a pet. It makes it something that's bigger than just an individual and their pet, or just the love between a dog and his boy. It is universal. It is something that inspires other people, and it is something that grows and changes in people's hearts. And I think that it's so evocative the way that he does this. And the whole thing takes place basically in the winter, because like that's the dangerous, like it's like especially the climax and everything, like that's the dangerous season to go out hunting raccoons is in the winter. So that is like where all of the exciting parts happen. And so the contrast of the snow and the dark with the love and warmth of an animal or of work as well, you know, like hard work, it's so beautiful. Like the juxtaposition between the two, and in a way it softens the snow and the harsh conditions in here, because the attitude of this boy and his dogs is just overpowering. It's so beautiful and so lovely, and also sad as fucking all hell because it's a historical fiction. This is a great one. There you go. It's winter, guys. Did you know that? It's cold outside. Let me know if you've read any of these books. I hope you have a happy Hanukkah, a Merry Kwanzaa, wonderful Christmas, happy holidays, a great new year. Subscribe if you'd like. Maybe I have some videos that I've been working really hard on coming up. I feel like my last couple of videos have been pretty lackluster, and it's just because I've been working so hard on a couple of others, but I'm really excited for them to finally get out. So subscribe so you can see those as they come. Like the video or comment or go have a good day. Whatever you want to do. And thanks for watching.